Nathan talked too much.
See ya.
Yeah. But we tried to squeeze in 2 meetings this morning and it just ran over a little bit. But anyway, we're ready to get started here. The April 14th Commissioners meeting. First off, we've got Virginia Dayton with Home Church to have our opening prayer. Good morning.
Heavenly Father, we just thank you so much for this great opportunity. I thank you for your blessing on these commissioners. Lord, I thank you that you give them wisdom and that any veil that's over any of our eyes that we don't see truth in, Lord, I thank you that that is being dissolved. And I thank you for truth prevailing over everything. And Lord, I just bless these gentlemen as they do this work. This is a huge task. And I thank you that their hearts are to better Davis County. And we really appreciate that. And we just thank you. We thank you for your blessing on them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thanks, Virginia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Virginia.
You guys had a chance to look over the meeting minutes on 3/24/26. Any changes or anything?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Cook,
Second.
second by Commissioner Gabhart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0. Next up, we've got the Highway Department. We did have a meeting this morning, a highway meeting. We met with the Odin Town Council. They're working on their finishing off the West Street project there. They've got some utility problems, water line. So we're trying to work with them, different avenues for them to go. You guys got anything to add on that with it or anything? No? They're hoping to get that into the street finished up.
Hey, first, I just got an LPA voucher for preliminary engineering on the roundabout on US 50 and 150 West from Lockmiller Group. It's a total of $26,692.75, reimbursable at 90% for $24,023.48. Give that to you guys for your signatures.
I entertain a motion to approve the LPA voucher.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Gabhart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then I know we're crunched for time, so I'll give my update at another time, and I'll let SJCA present their countywide bridge inspection to you guys.
Thanks, Chris.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Ronald Munoz. I'm the Bridge Inspection Department Manager at SJCA. These are the countywide summer report for the bridge inspections that we did in 2025. So
Is this the only book you have?
we have 3. I got one back there for Chris.
I'm just joking.
Okay. Yeah, I know it kills a lot of the trees. So in the past, you guys have asked me to not give you the full 5, so we only printed out 3.
And you still
but
haven't listened to us.
if you need more, we can get them for you.
Combined it to the one.
So the big takeaway that I hope you guys get today is that the highway department is doing a good job at maintaining stuff, which saves the county money, and that with SJCA as your consultant, partnering with the highway department in the future, we can save you guys some more money. So if we switch to the next slide, in 2025, we performed the Phase 2 Davies County bridge inspections. There was 126 bridges in Davies County, and we inspected every one of them. So the money for those inspections comes from the federal government, 80%, and then the county pays the other 20%. And in order to get that money, the county has to remain in compliance. If you go to the, there's 2 things I want to print out from this. There's the concrete channel beam bridge. There's 37 of those in Davies County. There's a railroad flat car. There's 10 of those in Davies County. The reason we're pointing those out, they'll become important in a little bit. You can flip to the next slide. So the current condition of Davies County bridges. We've got about 34% of them are in good condition, 64% in fair, and 2% in poor. The big thing that's changed since the last time we inspected is that last time the county had no poor bridges. This time it has 2 bridges that have been added. So the reason that those bridges were added is because the federal government changed the way that we code stuff. So one of the bridges is an aluminum culvert, and when it was constructed, there was a dent put in it. And so when we run the load rating on that, the strength and performance is decreased. And so because of that and because of the it's considered an isolated major defect, those combined make it a 4. So we had to push it down from 5 to 4. So that one, the condition didn't really change, but because of the way we code it, it moved it into that poor condition. The other one, though, is a railroad flat car, and that has a crack in one of the webs. It's like the side of the beam. And that has grown, and because it's grown, the strength has gone down. It's now load posted, and we had to reduce the condition from a 5 to a 4. So you guys now have 2 bridges that are in poor condition. Overall, though, if you look, Daviess County has about 2% in poor condition, and all counties, they typically have about 7%, so you're doing better there. The area that I want you to take a look at, though, is the posted bridges. You can see that Daviess County has 36 posted bridges, which is about 29%, and that's almost 2.5 times the state average. So what's going on? Why do you guys have that many posted bridges? If you'll flip to the next slide. This is a list of the priority of the bridges that after inspection we determine need replacement and rehabilitation. You'll notice that there's 7 bridges that we're recommending for replacement. Don't worry, you don't have to do them all at once. We kind of believe that they can be spread out. But the important thing to note is that of those 7 bridges that we're recommending replacement, 5 of them are railroad flat cars. Those, when they're used to make the bridges, they're bought used, and so they typically don't have the best condition when they're used for the bridges. They're a lower cost strategy though, and so you don't get as much life out of them. So there's 5 of those, but the other 2 bridges on there, 133 and 95, those are concrete box beam bridges, and those, I'll be talking about them a little bit in the future. And then if you have a priority rehab list, bridge 234 on there, that is also a concrete box beam bridge.
Is the railroad still an option, or has the state said no more of those?
So the state will allow you to use railroad flat car bridges, but they aren't a cost-effective strategy. They aren't the cost-effective strategy that they used to be, because now the state is requiring that you inspect them every 12-month routine inspection, and if they require an NSTM, you have to inspect them every 12 months. So last time we were here, Daviess County only had 1 bridge that required the 12-month inspection, but because of the NDOT's recent changes, you've gone from 1 to 11, and there's a cost associated with that. So I think for all of the additional work, it was about $20K if you round it, and that is additional work because of NDOT's changes regarding the railroad flat cars. And if it wouldn't have changed, you wouldn't have been hit with that additional
That was
money.
that amendment we gave you guys.
Yeah, I remember that.
So it's not necessarily the best cost-effective strategy anymore, and long-term, we're recommending that you guys phase those out of your inventory, and that'll also improve your load rating count. It'll reduce it as we get rid of those. So if you flip to the next slide. So, like I said, you guys in Daviess County have 37 concrete channel beam bridges and 37 box beam bridges. So there's only 5 types of, like, major types of bridges in Daviess County. You've got your box beams, your channel beam bridges, you have your railroad flat cars, and then you have, there's 4 kinds. And then you have your still rolled shapes, and all of the bridges can really fall into those. So now the important thing to know is that the concrete channel beam bridges, those have about a 40-year service life according to research, and the box beams have a 50-year life. So if you look, most of all of those bridges were constructed during this period from 1959 to 2002. Since the concrete channel beams have the shorter life, if you remember the previous slide, I said that the majority of the bridges posted in Daviess County are those concrete channel beam bridges. But we didn't see any of them on the rehab or the replacement list. And the reason why is, again, the highway department is doing a good job of maintaining those, so we can get a lot more service life out of them, save the county money, and not have to replace them. But the thing that we have to worry about in the future is these box beams. Like I told you, they have typically a 10 years more service life than the channel beam bridges do, and there's 37 of those in the county. We've already got 2 of them on the priority replacement list, 1 on the priority rehab list. But a lot of them, if they're not maintained properly, they are going to impose a cost on the county in the future, either to replace or rehab them. but there are maintenance strategies that we can institute if the consultant knows what they're looking for in order to make sure that you get a longer service life out of those bridges and save yourself money in the future. So if you flip to the next one, like I said, the channel beams 40 years, box beams about 50 years, and we want to make sure that we're maintaining those because you guys only have 2 in poor condition, and we want to make sure that we keep that one down so that you're below the state average and stuff looks good into the future and we're saving you money. If you flip to the next one, that's all I got for you. Hopefully you guys learned something. You have any questions?
Yeah, thank you.
No, thanks a lot.
The SJCA and Ronald, I would say, they've done a good job for us, and I think there's nobody that probably knows our bridges better than Ronald does. The 2 bridges he talked about, the railcar bridge, is that the one on 700 East? It's got the crack in it.
Yeah.
So that bridge is already contracted out. So the 2 bridges, the 2%, that one's contracted out. It's going to be built in September. I think it's going to start sometime in July. So that's going to be replaced. That's the one by CLR. And then the other one, that's the culvert that's got the dent in it. We've got that, turned it into a concrete box, and we have it at the shop, or it's at JJ's, one or the other. We could have replaced it last year, but we ran out of time. So the 2 bridges that are on there, it's given us a poor rating, are actually in the process of being replaced. In some of the good work we do, I do got to give, Jason Oakes is our assistant highway supervisor right now, and he's been our bridge foreman and our bridge guy for the past 26 years. And he does a good job combined with Ronald and what they do. That's why it makes me look good, I guess, and I make you guys look good. And
Appreciate
you guys,
it. Thank
you guys just look good on your own, right?
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Chris. Next up, we got approval for a new position with Judge Smith's office. He's been overloaded with cases. He come for a 5th court recorder, yeah. And there wasn't no appropriated funds for that, but Judge Murray did have the funds for it. So I think they're, I forget exactly what the council approved. Do you remember, Nathan, what they?
Yeah, we had a meeting with Judge Smith, and so they were able to do some reappropriation. Council's involved, they're comfortable. We met with Judge Smith, the
Yeah.
numbers made sense, so I can't re-articulate them, but they did their due diligence.
Yeah, I think everything was looked to, so I'll just need a motion to approve the new position.
So moved.
I'll
Motion,
second.
motion by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Gabhart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0. Next up, we got Davis County Community Corrections, a new security camera system for
Morning.
Betty. Good morning.
So we kind of emailed about this back and forth, and Dale's here. I wanted to make sure he was here just in case there's any technical questions about the system. How this even came up was we have a current system, and it was put in, I don't even know how many years ago it's been now, when we first got into that building. And I recently asked him if we could get a camera on the back side of the building, the back door entrance. And I don't even think they make those cameras anymore that I have. They're so old. And the system, like the playback, is not good. It's very pixelated, and we have several blind spots anyways. So Dale thought it was a good idea to get us integrated on the county system. And it is the same cameras that the county uses, same system. So he had the guys come and look at our building and actually use about the same amount of cameras that we have now, just replacing them with dome cameras, and it gives greater field of vision and very clear. He showed me what they looked like on his phone of how you can play back. And so I would like to request the county to fund this, even if it's through the unrestricted opioid funding, because there is some dollars available in that. I
Okay.
went through and looked, did a deep dive in that fund, and there is around 52,000 that has not been appropriated, so that would, more than cover that 12,000 451. You know, and we talked about the restrictions on the cameras. Of course, Sheriff's Department would have full access to all of our cameras. The county department heads would have access to.
Yeah, we have a
Parking
county,
lots,
we have a
public.
countywide, security camera ordinance
Yes.
that everyone follows.
Yes.
And then the sheriff has the most access, but
Yes.
that's controlled by, that
Dale.
policy.
Yeah, and then I would like to request the restriction on our lobby though, to just the sheriff's department and our department, because we have a lot of juveniles coming in and out, and there's a lot of confidentiality restrictions for juvenile cases.
Okay.
And just yesterday, we had a former client come into our office in a full-blown crisis situation, and we met with him in the lobby.
Okay.
And talked about a lot of sensitive information, so want to, give some people some dignity if they come to our office for a safe place.
Yeah, if you could, Laura, if you could get with, I think Dale, who has that policy.
When he sets that up.
Well, the policy, we have a surveillance video policy that we put in place a few years ago. So maybe get with Jen, actually, give some suggested language to Jen
Okay.
on that policy, and then get out to the commissioners, Grant, and then we can put it on the 28th meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see, that, just get all of our ducks in a row, but.
Yeah, because
get
ours
you-
isn't a typical public front-facing space, the lobby. The parking lot, sure, but our lobby, we have a lot of traffic in and out of there with confidential information, and
I think the cameras you got now are old, kind of like home security cameras or whatever. And I
They're-
talked to
they're-
Dale about it.
yes.
He was good, and I think if we get you set up, then I think the only thing left is the highway department, and all the
Yes.
departments will be on the same system.
I believe that's correct, yeah.
Sounds good. I'll make a motion to approve the cameras and to pull it out of the opioid unrestricted balance.
Motion by Commissioner Gabhart, do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Commissioner Cook. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
passes 2-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Laura.
Next up, we got the Baker Tilly Consulting Disclosure Service. This is just kind of their service contract, I believe, is what I understand. Goes over their hourly rates. Their rates are anywhere from $120 an hour to $705 an hour. But don't hear nothing but good things out of Baker Tilly. They're great to work with. Got anything to add to that?
Yes. I don't know if it's $705 good, but they're good. They're good. But there's also, what do you,
You get what you
No,
pay
right,
for.
that's-
get what you pay for, and we really get a good product. But I have no questions.
I entertain a motion to approve the service contract.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Cook, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gabhart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next up, we got Bob Grury with a DCEDC update. Morning, Bob.
Morning, everybody. Got a few. And I'll send you guys a Word doc, so if you want to put that in. It'll be a little easier on everybody. So, Bob Grury, Economic Development. To begin, we consistently work on responding to economic inquiries from the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. So that's sort of our standard activity. I do have a list here of some other things that we've been working on. Duke Energy awarded us a grant, and we're using that money to create a welcome guide for new residents. Probably won't be termed relocation, but this is with the notion of Westgate and other regional job generation happening, and trying to state our case, create our value proposition to reside here in Daviess County for newcomers. CSX, our long-standing partner, indicated they're not going to do rail inspections any longer, so we're looking for a new rail inspection. We're also going to be working with them on an announcement for a CSX Select site that's been designated. It is basically across County Road 200 from the Shell Building on 47 acres. I the shout out to Discover Downtown Washington. We worked with them on reaching their Indiana accredited Main Street program. And a lot of lessons learned in there. Below that, we mentioned we're working with the North Davies Community Growth Alliance on some downtown ideas. I think, the Discover Downtown Washington over 3 years sort of trickled into neighboring communities and created a little interest in, what can we do on our scale to improve our downtown areas. Working with Wagler Education has a lot of different value, from some new job creation, workforce training. So we'll be back at council at their next meeting. At that same exit, talking to the young man who was looking at a gas station project there near North Davies School. Continues to be in flux. Infrastructure and access continue to be challenges to make that pencil out. WTech, our new company, they continue to look at acquiring some additional land from M&C Tech, and we are working, anticipating a ribbon cutting sometime soon as sort of a celebration of their investment in our community. We updated a quality of place workforce attraction plan via our partners with ROI, and that's on the shelf, and they're looking at arts and culture related projects to compete for READY funding. We continue to work with our airport for them to find funding from the FAA to purchase the hangar that we built. There's always a little wrinkle, so we're trying to check some boxes and help them get through the FAA paperwork. We are looking at a facility assessment report for our downtown building. We have put a lot of money in it over time. We have some money on hand, and there's interest in placing that in some projects, and we thought, well, we ought to understand what it's going to take to maintain our building before we get ahead over our skis in that regard. And we're looking at, Indiana Landmarks has a grant program to help look at facility assessment for historic structures, and I think it's one of the landmark structures here in the county, and we stand a chance to get some funding to help with that assessment. Odentown Council has their tax abatement in motion for the Odin Locker. I think they've got 2 more resolutions to pass, and I'm meeting with Lucas on Radius Indiana has a regional impact fund that could help them maybe with a part of that expansion. And also noteworthy that Odin Locker was recognized by Radius Indiana, one of our partners, as an outstanding business in our community. So that was very nice. Our bike and pedestrian improvement plan, we got a grant from the Indiana Department of Health to start that. We're going to kickstart that on the 29th with an advisory committee meeting, and I've attached a list of those persons on the back. If that notice will go out today. Think of anyone that would be a good member of that advisory committee. Frankly, we thought we'd load it up, knowing that not everyone can get there. So we want to have enough people to make a good representation. We continue to look at these new market tax credits and opportunity zones. Basically, the west side of Washington is an eligible area, and we're trying to stay abreast of those developments. Working with Bryant last year, Duke gave us some funding, and we're creating a video to help market Westgate. We think that'll be very helpful to help explain the very dynamic sort of ecosystem at Westgate. For folks that aren't familiar with it, it's not just a lot of land. There's more to the story, so we want to tell that story. And we did have a meeting with this I-69 corridor enhancement project. AJ Miles stepped up and chaired that. We realized just how challenging it is to look at the entire corridor and try to understand what might be appropriate. Signage, visual enhancements, landscaping, it's a big bucket. So we're going to try to continue to chip away at that. And our Westgate signage is getting real close. Getting electric to those is the remaining piece. So I'm going to stop there. The balance is just sort of a calendar of things that we've been doing, so you have a snapshot of what we've been up to. I will share a note about a topic that we've had on our minds for some time, and that's some of the economic metrics. Nathan's been great and shared some of his time to talk about this. There's a lot of cool tools out there that'll model economic performance based on investment, number of jobs to be created. Radius Indiana has a very nice tool by Applied Economics, kind of a known entity in this space, and will forecast property tax revenues, induced jobs and investment. Also, we looked at Indiana Municipal Power Agency has another model. It's a little flashier. It has lots of interesting formats and gets down into all the subunits of government when you're looking at this. Hoosier Energy has a tax abatement calculator that can help you look at taxes that'll be derived from a certain amount of investment and job creation. At the end of the day, none of those really match what you're going to see on the county tax bills. And frankly, we found out there's no substitute working with the county assessor and their consultants to help them we frankly brought them, for instance, like WTech, and said, here's the dimensions of the building, and they can actually go and do the homework and arrive at a number that's much tighter than some forecast. So I've gone back and we're creating a spreadsheet that basically captures the investment from the beginning of that bond issue for the Shell building and rail, and then tighten up those estimates. And we think that's probably going to be the best analysis we can all feel comfortable standing behind.
No, I definitely appreciate your work on that. I mean, it's hard to measure, but just, going forward, anything that we spend, is there a measurable ROI? And if there is, let's track it. And I know we're getting short on time, but this is a great update. But in the future, I would suggest maybe pulling the contract out that we have.
Okay. Oh, yes.
And I think there's 5 or 6 bullet points on that contract. And maybe start with each bullet point and then put each one of these under each applicable
Perfect.
bullet point. Would be a step in the right direction, but great information though.
Thanks, Bob. Next, we got the Upland Regional Land Bank.
Director Greg Jones, Southern Indiana Development Commission, Indiana Upland Regional Land Bank. One of the things I didn't get to tell you about is we're building our first home as the land bank. So we're doing that in Shoals, and it's a partnership between the Land Bank and the Redevelopment Commission. They're both putting up a portion of money in order to build that first home. So I won't digress anymore on that. I'll give you a couple updates though on some projects that the Land Bank is working on. The Hartsburg property, which is a gas station near the town of Crane, we've gotten the state of Indiana involved in that. They are going to supply $167,000 in petroleum cleanup for that site. And so once we're done with that petroleum cleanup and the land bank clears the site, that site will be ready for redevelopment there in the tech park. So that should be valuable property. And then also on the Tokine property, we are working with ROI in order to secure $500,000 in order to take the pad out of the Tokine site. And then that will open it up for development. We've got a developer lined up that's looking at roughly $34 million in investment in housing on that site there. And then outside of the land bank, more on the SIDC Westgate realm, we have EDA that's looking to invest into the Westgate Technology Park. They say that they could put roughly $4 million into a project that would benefit the site. They are targeting a water tower, which would be on Davies County property. We're still looking at how that local match would come about, and we've kind of looked around at different sources. Edit may be one of those sources for it. But the nice part about EDA is it's an 80-20 grant, and so you leveraging a lot of the federal dollars in order with little local dollars put into the project. So just want to make you aware of those things. Keep SIDC and the land bank in your minds and hearts whenever you're making out your budget.
Thanks a lot. You guys are doing great things. Appreciate it. Next, we get Ride Solutions Grant, 27 grant application authorization. They just got to have our blessings to apply for some grants. Motion by Commissioner Cook. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Gabhart. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes 3-0. And then, next we got the Odin Library Board appointment. I think, commissioners are up responsible for 2 appointments, and one of them was Anita Stuffle, and she was not able to finish out her term for unforeseen reasons. But Jane Holder has stepped up and said she could finish it, and we just need the approval on that.
I'll make a motion to approve
Motion.
that one.
Motion by Commissioner Cook. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Gabhart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. And I think that's about it. Anything from the audience?
Yeah, just real quick on the YMCA letter of intent, since we,
Is it on there?
Yeah,
there was got added, so let's go ahead and do this, since we've talked about it at the RDC meeting, let's give a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
To get some feedback, and we'll put that on the 28th
Okay,
board meeting.
yep,
Thank you.
sounds good. If there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to pay claims and payroll.
so moved.
And adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Cook. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Gabhart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Thanks, everybody.